here with Jason Mack, who runs Mack Glass. How are you today?
Good, good. Thanks for having me on here.
I'm glad you're here, and happy holidays.
Thank you.
So I understand you've had this big project here in Illinois. A lot of us know that you've been making the biggest Christmas tree, pretty much. Can you tell me a
Yeah,
little
I've
bit
been
about it?
working on a 31-foot tall glass Christmas tree made out of crushed up beer and wine bottles, glass jars, every kind of container glass you can imagine. So I've been taking that, crushing it down, melting it in my mobile furnace here, and building the world's tallest glass Christmas tree.
It looks amazing. I've seen some of the pictures. We'll have those up right here. So now I understand there is actually a record. This is a title. And I think the last record for the biggest tree was 27 and a half feet. And your goal was
Correct.
31. And we hit 31?
Yeah, we sure did. Yeah,
So is this the world record? Are you?
It is. There's a process to apply to the Guinness Book of World Records. We're doing
Okay.
that. They don't send people on site right now because they're COVID, but you can just, as long as you take really good documentation, fill out the application, submit it, and hopefully we'll be in the book. I don't know if it's going to be next year or what their process is like. I know you can pay them like $1,650 and expedite the process, but
Oh, wow.
you can also take the slow route and just apply like normal.
So how does it feel to be in the Guinness Book of World Records, or almost in the Guinness Book of World Records, with the world's largest glass Christmas tree?
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, it's been a blast working on. It wasn't my goal necessarily to make the world's tallest glass Christmas tree, but as I was kind of designing the project and I was kind of researching a little bit about like what's been done before, and I came across that, and I would have honestly made it 31 feet anyway because of just the way I built it and the materials I used.
Sure.
That was kind of like a natural point. There's the sections of steel I use come in 10-foot sections. I wanted to use 3 sections. Those are 10 feet each. The base is 1 foot. So there was kind of a practical reason why it was 31 feet.
Okay.
And then just in my kind of a little bit of research, I was like, oh, well, these Italian master glass blowers made one. It's totally different design. Made one, and it was 27 and a half, and they're claiming that's the tallest in the world. I didn't find anybody refuting that. So I was like, well, if we're going to promote the project and we want to get eyeballs on it and get the community excited, we're going to promote it. World's tallest glass Christmas tree in the world. So I'm hoping the Italians hear about it. And they made theirs, it was a handful of Italian masters that collaborated. They made the glass in their studio and then brought it, made all these really nice hand-blown pieces in their studios and then brought them outside, and they, erected the structure. It also had a steel structure, and then they attached all the blown glass pieces. So a completely different process. Mine was made on site in front of the community over 3 weekends. So it's kind of a live performance event.
Yeah.
It's all bottle glass donated by the community. So I wish I could be there like a fly on the wall when the Italian Masters found out that some American glassblower beat their record with a bunch of trash.
I think that's
I love
incredible,
it.
though. What a cool way to get the community involved and work on recycling. I think that's a really cool component of your project specifically, is the eco-consciousness of it. That's really cool. So how exactly does a wine bottle, for example, or a glass jar, how does that become a piece of glass that can then be wrapped into your Christmas tree?
Sure. So the step one is the community. A community member drops off their glass. We sort it by the green and the clear colors. We crush it up, and then in this furnace right behind me, we crush the glass, and then I just shovel it in. I shovel it in this furnace, which is on a trailer. You can see it's kind of how it's set up. I don't know how the lights. Yeah, you can see it there.
Totally portable. Wow. And how is that powered, or how is that?
It runs. So right now I'm at my home studio. You can kind of see, get a little look at it. I've got another furnace here running where I make the products and the Christmas tree ornaments and all my other glass art. But it's hooked up to natural gas right now. But when I tow it to the site where we built the tree, it hooks up to a propane tank.
Okay, wonderful.
So I can show you here. This is what the glass looks like after we crush it. You can see we got a Modelo. We got some, looks like paper wrappers, but all the paper and everything just burns up.
Sure.
So here, I'm going to just kind of give you an example. The reason we crush it is because it makes it more compact, and it makes it, you can shovel more in the furnace at a time. But I'll kind of give you a little example here. It really just goes right into the furnace. You can see the label burning off. Just exploded. And then it just melts down. I mean, it melts down in about a minute.
Wow. So how hot do you think that is? Do you know the numbers?
So you can see the glass just really, it's already melted in.
Oh my goodness.
So that's kind of the process. It's, you know, at its core, it's pretty low technology.
Do you know how hot that's getting? Or roughly?
That's about 2,000 degrees right now.
Oh my goodness.
It's rated to get to max out at 2,400 degrees. So it's when it gets, you know, when I'm on propane burns a little hotter. So it's a little bit hotter when I'm on site, which helps because especially when you have cold, windy conditions, it helps to start with the glass a little bit hotter so it stays liquidy longer.
For sure. Talk to me a little bit more about numbers. How long did it take? Do you know how much glass you ended up using?
Yeah, so the community ended up bringing about almost 4,000 pounds of glass the first day. We just got pretty much all the glass we needed for the entire project on the first day, and it was a 6-day project. So I've probably got 4,000 extra pounds of glass that I can use in my other product lines and artwork. So I've got glass, you know, for the next few months at least, which is nice because then I don't have to go, you know, haul it back from the bars myself. It just kind of comes to me.
So literally cleaning up the streets or in people's homes and then creating this beautiful art from that recycled material. That's fabulous.
So I think you'll probably run some videos of the process, but just to kind of give you the quick rundown, we collect the glass, crush it. I shovel it into the furnace with a 50-50 mix of green and clear. So I get a really nice kind of transparent green.
Yeah.
And then we gather the glass out of the furnace, and then I engineered and built this 31-foot tall spinning armature. It's basically a giant spool that we just drip the glass onto, and it wraps it around, and we wrapped the glass. So the structure started off at 31 feet, and then we wrapped it with 4,000 pounds of liquid glass.
Wow.
So, yeah, again, pretty low technology, but really the final effect is just incredible.
And imagining 31 feet, I mean, sitting here, I really had to look at a picture to see exactly how tall that is. And I see you up on the ladder, and it's way above you. I mean, you really had to be up there. Did you have helpers with you? Did you have a team with you? Is it just you on a ladder? How did that go?
Yeah, we had about, there was about 6 of us total that worked on it. So some of the guys were more like site ops. We spread 40 yards of mulch because we used an empty lot downtown Champaign, Illinois, right downtown. They knocked a building down a few years ago, and the lot just hasn't been used since then. So I approached the development company that owned the lot, and I basically said, hey, I'll clean up the lot and knock down the weeds and pick up all the broken bottles that people have thrown on your lot if you let me use it for a couple of months for this project. And they were all about it. And so they got excited about it. So once I had the actual location, then I went around town and kind of told some local businesses about what I was doing. And initially they were like, this sounds strange, but I showed them some pictures of my previous work, my bigger installation work. And, you know, everybody started to get excited about the possibility. And so then I raised almost $20,000 to get the project done just from local business sponsors. And we got it done. It was amazing. And I had, you know, 6 of us, it took 6 of us about close to 10 days to put close to 4,000 pounds of glass on it.
Wow. It's interesting that you bring that up because we did just talk about in our last live stream was the impact of working in your direct community and working with your neighbors and your impact on them. And it sounds like you're really rooted in Champaign, Urbana there and working with the locals and the small businesses there.
Yeah, the project was completely, you know, the site was donated for a couple months. It's going to be on display until January 30th. You know, we had a big 20-foot by 20-foot tent up for running the on-site gift shop because we were selling small sculptures and ornaments. And so it turns out those big tents are really expensive to rent for an entire month.
Yeah.
But the company donated that to us. We had to run power to the site because there was no power on the site. It was just an empty lot.
Right.
So you can have, and I wasn't really aware of this before, but the power company can will hook up a temporary power pole. So the local electric company installed a temporary electric pole and meter, and then the Ameren in Illinois came and hooked it up, and so we had power on the site. Um, yeah, we had fencing, for crowd control and stuff was donated by a local fence company. Um, and then just monetary donations just, came in. The goal was I needed to raise just under 20,000 and we hit our goal. So that was amazing and got it done.
Well, congratulations. That's a huge, huge inspiration and a wonderful art project that you've contributed to the world. Um, so for you, is this about holiday cheer? Are you really into Christmas trees? Why? How did this come to be?
Yeah, I'm not particularly fond of Christmas trees necessarily.
And now
I
you're
came
the,
up with,
the Christmas record holder. So
I know that's the funny part. It's kind of ironic, but the reason I did my inspiration for the project was, one, I love doing this kind of work just
sure.
in general, is doing large on-site sculpture that involves the community.
Mm-hmm.
But 10 years ago, I came up with an idea to build a glass forest, completely out of glass donated by the community. And that's both just economical and just kind of a cool way to do it and get people involved. But, glass, if you buy it new, is anywhere from $1 to $2 a pound. And if I need, 40,000 pounds of glass for a glass forest, you can do the math. You're $40,000 to $80,000 worth of glass. But why would you do that when it's just floating all around you and going to the landfill and you can get it for free? And then get people really excited about helping grow a forest. So it's a huge project. I needed to raise awareness for it, raise my own, credit. Essentially, if I go to a business next year and tell them about my project and I'm looking for sponsors, if I didn't do this project, they'd be like, "Who are you? What is a glass tree? Get away from me." You know what I mean? So when I go to a business, I want to be like, "Oh, you did that? You're the glass Christmas tree guy." And
Totally.
so I've got like 5 different ways. I've designed all kinds of different cool trees, like glass trees that look more like weeping willows, different, mixed media steel trees, with, dripping glass, wrapping glass, blown glass, cast glass. So I've got so many different methods and processes I can use to build different trees and make this forest just really wild looking. And so breaking off just a small piece of the puzzle into this bite-sized piece, I could introduce the community to the idea and get them excited about a future project. And now after this tree, I mean, I've got businesses coming to me like asking how they can get involved in the next project, which is, amazing. I've got some companies that, do development that are offering me warehouse space now, which was a huge thing because
Wow.
you can see I'm currently in my 2.5 car garage. So I need to move into a bigger space next year to really start doing the bigger stuff. And there's a lot of actual commercial real estate open right now just because of the economy. So, I mean, just so many doors are open now.
That's phenomenal. Um, can you tell me a little bit more about actually that glass forest? You want to go for the world's largest glass forest. What does
Well,
that
not the
look
world's
like?
largest, it's the world's only
Oh,
glass
the
forest.
first,
Yeah,
the
there's
first glass forest.
no one's ever done anything like this.
What does that look like? I mean, we're not talking more of these 30 tall foot trees, right? Or are they?
No, that design, which is kind of like an evergreen tree,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
that will definitely be part of it. But other trees I have look like I said, like weeping willows. There's, other trees that incorporate blown glass or cast glass. One project I did, like for a restaurant downtown Champaign here, is I created a tree branch. If you go to my Instagram, you'll see a picture of it. But looks like a large tree branch growing out of the wall that I sculpted and welded out of rebar. And then I sculpted a glass owl sitting on top of the branch. So I did that for a local restaurant here in Champaign called Watson's. And so that's kind of to give people an idea of the other kinds of designs or steel work. Because I like to work with steel a lot too, and specifically like rebar because of the texture on it, and then other found materials.
So do you have a location for that? Or will
I've got
this
one
tree be
available to
included?
me. Yeah, I've got one available location. I've got permission to use pretty much indefinitely. It's like 90,000 square feet of just open grassy space, 5-6 blocks from downtown Champaign. So that's available now. And but I've got some meetings late next week and beginning of January to look at some other locations now. So yeah, which is incredible. So just
Very cool.
options right now are pretty awesome.
What will happen to the current Christmas tree, this large Christmas tree? Will that stay there? Will you take
No,
that with
it's a
you?
temporary structure. Temporary structure. So at January 30th or somewhere around that date when we have a nice weather, I take an angle grinder with a diamond wheel, take the lift up, zip zip zip, cut all the stringers, cut it kind of quarter it. All those glass threads I call stringers,
Mhm.
is what you call them in the glass world. Um, Come off in bundles. I box those up, bring them back to my studio, and then I take all those threads and I pile them together in like 4-inch squares in my kiln, and I fuse them together in these little 4-inch by 4-inch square plates, essentially.
Okay.
Pop those in, put a ribbon on it, call it an ornament. And so we've been pre-selling glass ornaments to the community that are made from the tree. The glass we take off the tree.
Okay.
So we pre-sold a couple of hundred of those already. And so basically the community brings me their glass, I process it, build this giant tree, take the glass off, process it again. I turn it into these cool it essentially looks like a 4-inch by 4-inch section or cutout of the big tree because it's those threads just fused together in a nice
Right.
little plate. And then I sell that back to them. So, and that's how a lot of people have gotten excited about owning, a piece of the world's
Part of
largest glass
that Christmas
tree.
tree. Yes.
Yeah. So
I'm gonna need to
just
get one of those.
yeah, I'll send you one. Yeah, shoot me an email later, and I'd be happy to send you one.
Well,
And
definitely.
I could probably make somewhere in the ballpark of 1,500 to 2,000 of these ornaments from the tree.
Okay.
So when I say we've pre-sold 200, it sounds like a lot, which it is, has been incredible. But yeah, I can make a lot more.
So everybody listening who wants a piece of the world's largest Christmas tree.
Yeah, and you can there's a listing on my website, on my online store. You can find it's mackglass.com. So mackglass.com, just my last name, glass.com.
We will be sending everybody there. So this is a really seasonal effort. What are you typically doing the rest of your year?
It's been I do lamp work. I blow glass at summer camp music festival.
That's right.
This
That's
year
right.
would have been my this would have been my 11th year in a row blowing glass in the Soulshine tent at summer camp.
Yeah.
So I look forward to next year. Next year will be my 11th year.
Oh,
And
excited.
so I do jewelry, pendants. I just for like 2.5 months, I was like, man, I wanted to hone in on my sculpture, my lamp working, working out of the torch. I wanted to kind of hone in my fine sculpting skills on the torch. So I put out a thing on my Facebook that if you send me a picture of your animal, any pet, literally it could be a turtle or a dog, cat, whatever, horse. I did a couple horses. I did a pig. I would sculpt it, make like basically a mini figure, 3-4 inches of whatever animal you sent me, do a portrait of it. And that was really challenging because you got to get the colors right, the shape, the look, the feeling. And so I was selling those anywhere from like 60 to 120 bucks and a piece. And so I did those for a couple months, 2 or 3 months. I was doing those, and I just do all kinds of stuff. I'm trying to get more honed in on and focus on stuff that moves the bigger project forward. So I'm trying to focus on that. I still get a bunch of messages about doing the animals. I just got to tell people I don't do them anymore. But so yeah, now I'm really just trying to stay focused on doing the large forest project now.
Totally. Well, you certainly speak with such passion about these projects, and that's really inspiring, I think, to hear someone who's so creative and still happy about the work that they're doing in arts. That's very cool. Now, I understand you're also an instructor. Do you instruct at a community college? Is that
I
happening?
do, yeah. Parkland Community College. I offer a few classes, about one class every month or so. I do for them, and it's like a non-credit community. Through their non-credit community education program. So it's not like I'm not like a professor there or a faculty member. It's totally independent. Like basically I'm an independent contractor. But anybody from the community can sign up for my classes. And it's basically an hour and a half intro to glass blowing using the torches. So the first class we make beads and pendants. It's a class similar to the one I first took that got me introduced to glass blowing when I was 17. So I'm 37 now. So I've been doing this for about 20 years.
And what was
So,
the spark that made you take the leap and go into glass art?
well, so I took my first glass bead making class when I was 17, and I just fell in love with it. I absolutely fell in love with it. I just knew, and I'd already been doing art, and I always had an interest in art, drawing, clay. So when I got introduced to glass, I was hooked. And it was a glass bead making class I took with my mom when I was 17. She came home. She's like, "Hey, do you want to take this class with me and my like 7 of my friends on a Saturday afternoon?" I'm like, I just got in the car. I had my 66 El Camino. I was like, just got it fixed up and running. I was like, man. And then, but I was a good sport. I did it, and I'm glad I did because that kind of turned into a lifelong passion. Then after that, I graduated from Glen Ellen Glen Ellen COD, College of DuPage in Glen Ellen, and then transferred to Illinois State University. They had a glassblowing program there, so I graduated from their sculpture program in 2007, end of 2007, beginning of 2008, and I've just been doing glass in various forms ever since then. I've worked full time doing my glass art, doing production like glass lighting for restaurants, and then if I start getting burned out of my art, I do like HVAC, maintenance, so I can always do that too. So yeah, I work full time doing HVAC and maintenance right now, and do basically full time too with my glass job. So 2 full-time jobs. Plus my fiance and I have twin babies at home. So
Oh my
they're about
goodness.
20 months old. Yeah, they're
Congratulations.
amazing. Yeah, they're a boy and a girl, Harrison and Harper. So
I'm actually a twin as well. I have a twin brother.
really,
Mm-hmm.
okay,
There's a picture of us somewhere on this Christmas tree, but
yeah,
yeah. So
yeah, they're incredible. They're incredible. So yeah, I basically have three full-time jobs right now.
well, good for you. You are certainly such a light, especially around the holidays right now. And it's
Yeah.
been a pleasure getting to hear a little bit more about Mack Glass and your Christmas efforts and your family. So thank you for taking the time to talk with us today.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you.
It was a pleasure. I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, bye.
Have a good day.